Shantae, aka Shanteezy, on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Shantae. So I'm here with my nightly edition of Shantae's Analysis hashtag. You can follow me on my Instagram, on my Twitter at I am Shanteezy, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Shantae Berry. So I am here with the regular spiel, and I always start off with coronavirus. For those who don't follow me, that's what I start off because we are in the midst of COVID-19. So here we are. So global confirmed cases in 191 countries that has coronavirus. We have 74,167,013. The global death toll is 1,648,091. U.S. confirmed cases as follows: 16,964,173. We're almost at 20 million cases in this country. And I don't think it's going to get any better till the next administration comes in. Sorry about that. Excuse me. U.S. death toll is at 307,339. Yesterday we were at 303. And today we had 307. Over 307,000. So we probably had the largest death toll today. I think 4,000. So this is almost more than 9/11, and this is like repetitive days of 9/11. New confirmed cases in the United States, we had over 198,000 new cases of COVID. So it was 198,375. And all of these numbers that I am reporting from are from the Johns Hopkins website. I report from two. So this global and U.S. confirmed cases come from the Johns Hopkins website. You can easily go on there. It's coronavirus.jhu.edu. For your own public knowledge. You don't have to wait to click on the TV to know about the coronavirus numbers. You can do the research yourself. It takes like 2 minutes out your day. After work or before work. Okay. Now I'm going to get into the New York Times COVID map, and that's for the states. Here at home, we had, like I said, over 198,000 new cases today. So, and nothing much has changed besides everything keep going up. If you look at this map of all the infected areas on my New York Times COVID map, you see this Wagwan. This is the map. New York Times COVID map is free. I think it's for the New York Times COVID map and the Washington Post. Their COVID map, COVID subscriptions are free. I get like a daily email every day from them. And you go on the Johns Hopkins website yourself. All of these numbers, you don't have to wait, like I said, to turn on your TV. It's all there. All right. So this is as follows. Oh, Tennessee. Ooh, wow. California just reached 1.7. They almost got 2 million cases. 1,712,153. Texas. 1,533,317. No, 312. So Texas at 1,533,000 and 553,000. No, 533,000. I was right. And 312. Florida, 1,155,327. Illinois, 872,294. They're about to be in the millions. New York, 808,929. Ohio, 584,766. Georgia, 541,086. They're starting to slightly flatten their curve, but I don't know how long that will be. Pennsylvania, 525,199. Michigan, 482,217. And Wisconsin rounds up that top 10 with 478,162. And then Tennessee is not that far behind Wisconsin with 471,000. North Carolina is at 449,000. Indiana is at 443,000. So most of these places are over 300,000. South Carolina is at 260,000. So a lot of these places are seeing spikes in their cases, and I think South Dakota is almost damn near at 100,000. They had 91,699. Yep, there's no mask mandate order though. So that's that. And I always say there's no national strategy because there's not. None in the world. But I'm assuming the Senate, according to my NBC News report, I gotta find where it is. But there's a possibility that direct payments likely as lawmakers near COVID deal. So let me just read this report real quick. I won't be that long. Direct cash payments likely as lawmakers near COVID aid deal. A new round of stimulus checks is expected to be included, sources familiar with the negotiations said, but the dollar amount is not clear. Congressional leaders and the White House are nearing agreement on a roughly $900 billion coronavirus relief deal that will likely include a new round of direct payments. Three sources familiar with the negotiations said Wednesday. The emerging package will include enhanced federal jobless payment benefits, a small business funding, and money to distribute COVID-19 vaccines. The dollar amount of the stimulus payments has not yet to be determined, but some will probably say $600 per person, while others said it might be higher. It's not immediately clear that the income cutoff will be. Lawmakers expressed optimism that the legislation will be completed late Wednesday or early by Thursday, Well, it's about to be Thursday, indicating major breakthroughs after months of discord between the two parties. The proposal which is still being finalized and doesn't not yet have leadership agreement, will include liability protection for employers or state or local funding sources said. So pretty much this bill is crap. But my senator, the Senate Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer, said it's not a done deal yet, but we are very close. But the thing is with this bill that makes me upset is 7 months ago, as of Tuesday, made it 7 months that the HEROES Act passed. A $2 trillion bill that will actually give direct payments, another round of stimulus checks, probably up until 2021. Still continue the $600 extra unemployment plus regular unemployment. Let's see. Money in COVID relief, money in reopening safely for schools, more money in the PPP loans for small businesses, because there's a lot of small businesses in New York where I live, and I'm pretty sure in other urban neighborhoods and even in rural communities, there's a lot of small businesses, and a lot of small businesses really need the help because they don't have a lot of the money as these major stores do. Okay, I need to do something really quick, so hold on. Just really need the help because they don't have a lot of the money as these major stores do. Okay, because this T writer, I guess he decided to go off because I was getting ready to block. But Take your frustrations out on your congressional person if you're a real person. But anyway, yeah, the HEROES Act passed, and there was the student loan forgiveness, even though it did not go as far as progressives wanted to, but it will actually forgive loans. But who am I? Who am I? But I am so sick of these Republicans, and I've been sick of them since I was a kid, and now they just got worse, and now they're showing who they really are, as Black people have mentioned them since, they have not voted for the Civil Rights Act back in 1964. Yeah. Until Biden and Harris gets in, it's going to be a long ass 35 days. I never thought these weeks and days will go slower, but unfortunately, it's going slower and slower and slower. But this GOP will continue to not acknowledge that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is president-elect and vice president-elect. They still think the election was rigged, which it wasn't. Even Republican governors who met with the Electoral College even said it themselves. This was a safe and fair election, and it was. Yep, Elizabeth, it sure was. And yet you have deplorables like, let's get people's full names, because I like to say people's full names because they know they're in the hot seat. They're in the hot seat of it all. Addison Mitchell McConnell's one of them, even though he acknowledged Joe Biden and Kamala Harris after a month they were elected president and vice president of the United States. He now extends the olive branch. Like, we know you, Addison. We know you a whole ass liar and a sneaky duke. Ronald Harold Johnson, the chief architect of investigating Robert Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's only surviving son left, Rafael Edward Cruz, also known as Ted Cruz. Let's see. Michael Braun. Joshua Harley. Anybody I'm missing? Mr. Jordan. Matthew Gates. I mean, the list of deplorables going on, and Kevin McCarthy's punk ass, and Steven Scalise, even though you're not grateful for being alive today, but you're still being deplorable. You too. All of them. You got to say everybody's full name. But Ronald Johnson is one of the chief architects who is still trying to investigate Robert Hunter Biden for whatever reason. I have no idea. Maybe he's jealous because Ron Johnson actually looks better than him. I mean, after all, Ron Johnson's probably not that far in age. Well, no. Hunter Biden is only 15 years younger than Ronald Johnson. Hunter Biden is 50. It's a full-grown ass man. What's your problem with him? What did he do to you? He never held a government position. Never, ever. The only Biden son that held a government position was Joseph Robinette Biden III, and he's deceased. I think she should. Because if they're acting like this and they've been elected to serve in Congress and they're doing this shit, Imagine what they will do to the next president and vice president. It's illegal. And Kevin McCarthy should be stripped from his speakership. Not speakership, but his leadership. Him and Steve Scalise. Because they're the worst. I mean, you have a guy that was a Republican that was part of the party, which I felt like no Republican should ever been elected on top of the ticket with Donald Trump from 2016. But who am I? I guess he saw the light. But why it took you a month? Like I said, half of these elected Republican officials, they're full of shit. Garbage. Doo-doo. Because you know this is wrong. Imagine if a Democratic president would act like this if they lost an election in a one-term presidency. Imagine if Jimmy Carter, which he was the only Democrat that lost his re-election in modern day history. Imagine if he acted like this. So this GOP, as I said, I never was for them. I never really cared for them, didn't care for their policies. But now I really don't have respect for them. I don't. I really don't. Anything they say out of their mouths has no value. And that's really hard for me to say, but their behavior, their deplorable behavior shows it. So that's that. But my last topic I want to get into, I was on the phone with my parents for like damn near almost 2 hours talking about, I was originally talking about my sister about a computer. Because her and my mom, they need to get new laptops because it's about time for them to get new laptops. And then all of a sudden, my dad got into the conversation on the phone, and it was about an interview on CNN, which I saw it with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Don Lemon. He said something, I missed it because I was talking to my sister, but I heard a little bit of it. And then he was like, saying something like, with people, they're not like this no more. Black people need to stick together. And he was talking about with the police and how the police raided this woman's apartment in Chicago and how Mayor Lightfoot basically tried to cover it up, which, like, why would she do that? The fuck is wrong with you? You know what happened with your predecessor. He did that shit, and he was still held him accountable for that. And then it just went to a whole nother range. And so why I'm talking about this, because it leads me into the discussion of the progressive left. And why I put the quotations on it, because I feel like they're not real progressives. Because real progressives wouldn't be acting the way these assholes are acting. Black Panthers, to me, were the real progressives. And did they act like this? No. Yeah, that thing is yeah. But if these real progressives were about progressivism, like actual progressivism, they would have got on board with the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, and would have advocated very strong for the Justice and Policing Act. And they didn't. Pulling out my glasses because my face is getting skinnier. But it's a serious thing. Like people, the Bernie Sanders and the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez awards, they're making noise, but what are y'all doing right now? Y'all should be discussing COVID relief. Y'all should be at Mitch McConnell's office and should have been like, why you didn't put that HEROES Act on the floor? Because they don't really care about their HEROES Act. So you're talking about you don't care about your constituents getting the aid that they need. I understand y'all both represent mostly white people in your district, but I mean, this COVID relief will actually help everybody in this country. Everybody. But that's all I have to say about them, because I usually will go off on them, but it's getting late and it's almost 12 o'clock. And I was on the phone for a whole hour and a half, almost 2 hours with my parents, so they had tired my voice out. But I will say this. Please wear your mask. Please wash your hands and continue to social distance. Let me just read this one last comment. Progressives are phony. They claim to be for universal health care, housing for all, UBI, and etc. But they do absolutely nothing to do. You're absolutely right, Hardy. They don't. Because if they did, these things would have been pushed. If Bernie Sanders was for this stuff all along, why his legislative record don't speak for that? Why 422 of his bills, only 7 became law? Thank you, Elizabeth. Same here. Why? They talk shit about Joe Biden. Some of his policies I didn't agree with, but he passed legislation. I mean, the Brady bill he was very progressive with the Brady bill and with climate change. He was part of the agreement with the Paris Climate Accord with him and President Obama. And what did Donald Trump do? Withdraw us out from that. So we're going to be drawn into that. And also WHO, we're going to be back in that. So all these progressives making noise like, oh, Joe Biden's not picking the most progressive cabinet. Near tandem, John Kerry. And John Kerry talked about climate, talked about, marriage equality before everybody started getting on that wavelength. And if Bernie Sanders was also so progressive, why would he not speak at the human rights presidential platform nearly 2 years ago? You know who spoke at that? The president-elect, the vice president-elect, Senator Warren, Senator Booker, Secretary Castro, soon-to-be Secretary Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, I believe Tom Steyer. So, yeah. But like I said, I'm going to sleep. You guys have a great night, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Take care.